Hello and welcome to another episode of Theorycraft. My name is Anders and today we're going to be taking a look at Nuke. I've got some fun stuff planned for this video, but we're going to start off with a little bit trivial wallbang sequence that I hope you guys will test out, sort of like a hat trick thing. So the first thing, it's just if you're bored, if you don't know what else to do, you could maybe wedge yourself up against the pipes here. You see the first window, you aim underneath the indentation here, and that is roughly going to be sort of headshot height for anyone standing on the other side. You can't know if they're standing out here or in here or maybe over here instead. So again, it's just meant as sort of like a blind test, as you're passing time anyway. If you want to shoot here instead or, on the other side here, those shots are also valid as shots that sort of go out here. And it's just a test. So let's, take a couple of shots here, then move on to the next thing, which is going to be right over here. And here your height indication will be these dots on the wall. So, a shot like that is going to be sort of roughly headshot height on anyone standing on the other side. And again, you don't know if they're going to be here, or back here, or back here. So, it's just a sort of a random guess. You're going to be moving in and you can go quite far out, right? You can even shoot there and you'll still get a shot. So, the shot, the angle is quite wide that you could hit someone with, but you have no way of knowing. So, there's no point in sort of, speculating too much. It's just something to do while you wait anyway, as people tend to do on Nuke. The third one in the sequence is going to be jumping up on the middle of this fence, or the railing here, and then you turn around, you look at the sea, and you aim just above, the sort of the white frame there, just above that, and it should give you a pretty good shot that goes through 41 damage. It's not, an insane amount. Someone standing, if they're standing exactly in the right spot on this wall, then they could be headshot. But the fact is, people do stand here a lot. They tend to sort of, stand there and look down towards the doorway. And it's almost impossible for them to retaliate that shot. Like, think about what they would have to do. They have to sort of stand up and then predict you being somewhere up there. It's unlikely, and you can sort of take the shot and run away, because people do tend to shoot back through those windows if things go bad. So just try those three things. Maybe you will get lucky, maybe you won't, but then report back to me and tell me if it worked or not. Now, the next thing that we're going to be looking at, we'll start with another sort of really fringe thing, but I've got to show you guys because I think it's too much fun. Basically, what I want to show you is sort of first the worst version of these two. They're both weird, but I'll show you the sort of worst one. If you line yourself up against the back line here, and you sort of edge to your left enough to sort of cover that lamp here, you can see I'm just covering that with the ventilation here. So if I do this, as long as I don't have a rifle, if I have an AWP like this, it's not going to work. But if I just have a pistol, then people coming in from T here, they can't actually see me. Or this is exactly what it looks like to them. I'll show you. They will just see sort of nothing at all. I think if they are scoped up and they sort of look like this, maybe they could maybe see you. But without the scope, I guarantee you they can't see anything. Running all the way here, the only way they could see you, even here, is if they jump. They would have to jump to sort of spot that position. Now, why would you do that? Well, only really if you had a deagle and you were in a crazy mood and you felt like, if I sit there, someone walking out on silo, they won't be able to see me. So it feels like fun. There is another angle out here from which people can't see much, and that's actually right behind this event. Now, don't ask me how you're going to get to this position, because obviously on the CT side, you'd have to sort of make a crazy jump up here, and chances are by the time you're at this corner, they can definitely already be out by the boxes, and they could be on silo too. But let's say they don't, or let's say, you were really adventurous, you popped sort of a flashbang in and then went crazy for it, and you were in an eco round and you had a 5.7. You see where I'm getting with this. It's really hard to accomplish, but once you're here, you can't be seen from silo or the boxes or anything. I always feel like I have to sort of prove that to you guys, so I'll just do this. Just have the bot crouch, and then because he is turning the wrong way, let's see if I can do this. We've got to make him mimic a little bit. So now he's actually turning into the box, right? He's looking my way, so you could see me. So now I can't see anything. And that's, I don't think many people would check that position. Now, how useful is it? We're just going to have him turn around again. Sorry about that. So how useful is it actually? Well, if you're coming down here, first of all, that makes a noise. So he should know that you're sort of falling off, right? assuming that he could do that, he has a chance, at least a sort of a theoretical chance to do something about it. Oh, he also can't really be seen from down here, just in case you guys are wondering. That's not an angle. Again, if you turn him around, he won't be spotted from here either. It's not until you get to this position you can very easily spot someone out. So then, you know, that position stops working at all. But yeah, if you're just paying attention to the audio and you're back here, I think there's a decent chance you could upset someone who's never seen it before. And if you really, really, really wanted to play, sort of be brave, you could even try for a sort of a flash that goes under there. Not that one. But something like this, you know. Just because that won't flash you, but it will flash through anyone walking on the other side here. And they can't really see it. It's very hard to see where that flash is going or even coming from. So it's worth a try. It's a bit crazy. You would only do it ever in a round where you had to eco and, you know, you were just feeling crazy and adventurous. But I still think it's kind of fun. So maybe test it out. You know, again, show me if it works or not. Now we're going to get to some more serious stuff that I think is worth covering on this map. One of them is the ramp room here. Normally, you don't want to put too many people in ramp room. It's usually just going to be one person, maybe with somebody else who's rotating in and out of heaven or hell. So this one person has a really big job, and I think it's one of the least fun places to play on this map is ramp, because you almost exclusively have to sort of wait, and if too many people show up, you have to fall back and call for backup, and then you're taking up a secondary position down here, because you can't really afford to die. You've got to stay alive at least a little bit. Now, I had a fun idea for a smoke, which basically is this. You're just going to be standing up here, and you underhand throw into the ground. It'll jump up like that, and now you can see under it, and I'll show you just how much that is. So you see, I'm just sort of in the middle of the ramp, right? It's very easy to feel your way out and see when exactly you can see, you know, the chairs down there and everything. And believe me, they can't. It's very hard for them to see anything on the other side. I'll try and show you. Because obviously they don't have the ramp to sort of crouch under it, so it's kind of an unfair situation. But that's great news, obviously. That's how you want it to be. You see, it's very hard for them to see anything on the other side here, especially because if they're coming through with AKs or whatever. So that smoke is obviously a bit suspicious, and they might just try and sort of blind shoot through. But again, it's not such an easy angle for them to hit you at, and you really can see a lot. That smoke can also be thrown from up here if you're standing here instead, because let's say you're waiting for them to come and you've got your AWP or whatever, and you think, oh, now's the time. You have to pull out a smoke and go and sort of do this. It feels a little bit uncomfortable. So if you're standing up here and you get the word for it, you just aim right where that is, and you should be good to go. Let's show you. Okay, maybe I will. If I can just make no clip work. There we go. So just again underhand throw, and it'll bounce up and be there, and you know, again, very easy clear shot on anyone coming through. And if you're on the low ground, you could do the same thing. You just got to aim a little bit higher up to where that is, and I think that's sort of roughly, yeah. So again, sort of relatively easy to look under the smoke. Let's see if I can just find the right angle as I'm saying that. Yeah, so you know, just a little bit of practice and you should be good to go. So yeah, that's actually something I think that's slightly unique to this map. There aren't that many other maps that have this particular sort of piece of architecture, and I quite like it. It's definitely not 100% win. There are lots of risks, and it's not going to be easy to find the right timing. But if you do, the reward is there, so definitely try that. There is a similar one that can be done. This one is a little bit more crazy, but if you're covering the hut here and you feel like, you know, now's the time to smoke, if you stand up against this, you sort of get stuck on it, and you aim right above the window, and you've got to do it. You see that there's sort of 3 tiles here that you could be looking at, right? Like 1, 2, 3. The middle of them, you want to aim just right above there, and this is honestly a little bit tricky. Like, it takes a while to get it perfect. But it should bounce up, and as you can tell, that lands in the corner. And now I can see under here, because I'm, you know, on a slightly lower level. I can see under and see what's going on the other side here, sort of fairly easily. And anyone coming through most definitely won't be able to see anything apart from, even if they crouched, it's going to be real tough. And it lands in that corner, so really fun times. I don't know if that can be thrown from somewhere else. Maybe someone will find out one day, but that's the idea of it. You try and do that. Again, timing is going to be real tough to find a good timing for it, but I think a lot of people, if they saw that smoke, they would think, well, that's just someone who smoked off hut. And what they might do is actually, instead of looking that way, they would look to see if they could see anyone in mini or anyone, you know, playing here. So they would sort of feel safe checking it, not knowing that their feet were showing. So that's the idea, which is going to put us on to, I think, yeah, we're just going to stay in hut, and we'll cover actually something from the terrorist side, which I think is going to be worth it. Because again, playing T on this map is fairly difficult, and this particular grenade is thrown from this hinge right here, and you see, so I'm just sort of scoped up right there, and it doesn't have, I mean, it's just sort of roughly there, it doesn't have to be super accurate. Then what I'm doing is I am looking for this piece of wall right here, and I'm just aiming a little bit above that, right, the second step, just a little bit above. And that should give me a grenade that sort of lands up there. Yeah, so obviously you still have to worry about what's here. Maybe you'd have to flash, or maybe you'd even have to have someone who throws another grenade to smoke that off. But once you're here, if you walk into this corner, you see how much you can see from mini. That is quite remarkable, and you really can't see anything from the other side. I've tested this with a couple of players now, and it's very, very hard to see anything on the other side. I'll try and show you again. So if you've got an AWP, obviously it's ridiculous, right? Now this really looks like someone should be able to see it, but if you're on the other side here, from this angle, you won't see any gun barrels or anything else like that. If you're all the way up here, you can definitely see people, and you know you're going to be in trouble. So it's not without risk, but I think it's a fun smoke anyway. It's definitely worth trying every once in a while to see if you could sneak someone in there. Again, maybe in a round where you just have a deagle or something and you try and get someone killed like that. It could be worth it. So go and test that out. I'm trying to think if there's anything left. Right, okay, now we're getting to the sort of slightly ridiculous stuff. We haven't got the challenge of the week yet. We'll get to that last, and it's going to be tons of fun. You might need a friend to carry it out, but we'll do one last thing here just for the hell of it. If you've got a friend who's put the bomb down, try and ask them to do it in this position, which I think most people do anyway because they're sort of covered from up here, right? But somewhere in this position, because it would limit where the CTs can defuse from, right? If they do it from back here, then our plan really falls apart, so that's bad. But they're also very exposed. If they do it from here or here or here, which I think is more likely, then there is at least a peripheral chance that you could try and maybe get the shot on them from up here. So you just wedge yourself up against this, you turn around, and then, yeah, this is where it gets tricky. So there's some dots. You see this one? I can't, you know, you just find the corner here. There's one big dot, another dot, and then you aim a little bit further out than that, and you should be able to get a pretty good shot in. That definitely wasn't it. Okay, let me try again. I think I was in the wrong angle altogether. Right, so roughly like that. So just into the corner, there, and then a little bit further out. And that actually does 50 damage, right? Again, don't do this in a game where you know, if you're qualifying for a big tournament or something, don't do this. But if you're just having fun with Nuke and you know you've got a friend who's up for it, why not try it? And it really is almost as effective as shooting sort of directly. Well, first of all, some of these parts of the floor you really can't. But even if you do like this, it's only 13 more damage, you know. It's only 63 versus 50. But in here, you're going to be potentially more useful. You can cover anyone coming in from here. You can leave the door open and cover outside as well. There's a lot of stuff that you really can cover anyone coming out through the vents to help your team out. And if the rest of the team fails, then, you know, if you've got that little backup potential there. So again, it's not necessarily that difficult to do. Just a little bit of practice, and maybe you could become a Reddit superstar for one day. Right, that leaves us with the challenge of the week. I hope I haven't forgotten anything. I feel like there were so many things on this map that I wanted to test out and try out, but I think we're just going to go straight to the challenge of the week, which is going to be this ladder. Now, it can be used in two different ways, and I'll show you both. First one is with a boost, so you need a friend, obviously, to help you out. I hope you guys got a friend since the last video. That's important. Friend stands here, you jump up, and then you jump up on the ladder on the wrong side, because this ladder is a ladder on both sides. Makes sense, doesn't it? Then you crouch and you sort of go all the way up. Now, while on this ladder, you won't be able to hit anything. Scoped, you see there's no consistency at all. So even if you're sort of scoped up here, you know, some of the time you'll hit, some of the time you won't. And the problem is they're obviously not going to be sneaking in, they're going to be running through. But you're very hard to see when you're up here, for a number of different reasons. And I'll try and see if I can show you the best that I can. It's not so easy getting the bots to do it. I probably, again, speaking of which, I should have probably had a friend who could do this, but I'll try and see if I can sort of... This is sort of close to what you'll be getting if you do it. I think you may be stuck in the ladder, so it's not a complete representation. But if you're coming through here, obviously you'll be checking most likely spots, right? And walking out like this way you won't see it. But even if you're looking all the way up here, it really have to look high up to see someone being there. And he can see you roughly here. You can see a whole leg basically when you're standing here. So he has time to sort of do something about it. That's the idea. And then you've got to make up your mind. What are you doing now that you know they're coming? If you jump down like this, that's definitely one option. You could also try for a slightly sort of more subtle jump down where you sort of try and get into the corner and actually sort of land behind them. Because again, if they're coming out like this, then maybe you'll sort of be out of their field of view. Alternatively, you know, try and throw a flashbang or something if you feel like that's going to help, and then jump down. There are so many options for how to deal with this, and I'll leave it up to you. You could have a Mag 7 and just shoot it mid-air. That works very easily. Let's see if I can show you. That's definitely a legit option as well. Like if you see their feet coming down here, if you do like this, that's not such a hard shot to hit, really. I found no way to get around here on your own, but what you can do, if you really feel like going it solo, you can sort of walk into the side of the ladder, and again, it won't be as good because the people are more prone to checking this corner first, but you can still see their feet before they can see you. So if you're not flashed or anything else like that, it's definitely possible to get a sort of a decent shot off. But again, you've got to imagine if they're coming through here, then they will sort of look up at that angle first, right? But I still think it's very unlikely someone will check it. People tend to check this spot only when, like, sort of maybe they'll have someone running out like this, but that will actually make it even worse for them. So either way, it's not an easy spot to check, and it's great fun, you know, being on the wrong side of the ladder. Really, why not? So that's the challenge of the week. Go and test it out. And hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you will follow and subscribe the YouTube channel. We're trying to grow it and build it and make more content for you guys. So definitely do that. It will help us out so much. And yeah, share it with your friends. And have a good evening.